All right, welcome back. We're going to do a little bit of a review since we've missed a bunch of school to make sure we're all on the same page. So it says, find the approximate arc length of the darkened arc. So if it says arc length, that's a sign to you that you are going to be using circumference, which that equation is 2 pi r. All right, but we don't want the whole circumference. We only want 225 degrees out of the whole circle. And it says round your answer to the nearest hundredth. So if we want to find the arc length of this arc, it's going to be the 225 degrees out of the total 360 degrees in a circle. And we're going to be multiplying it by 2 pi r, part of the circumference. So 2 pi, and in this case, the radius is 12. Okay, if it says round your answer to the nearest hundredth, what that means is you need to put the whole thing into your calculator, including the pi. So if you did that, you could get 15 pi, but make sure you put the pi in your calculator if you're rounding to the nearest hundredth. So 15 pi would equal 47.12, and since it's circumference or distance, it's yards. So just as a note, this would be exact, but this is the 47 and 1200ths is the approximate arc length. Okay, the next one, it says find the exact area of the shaded sector. So it says area and sector, so those are some keywords for area, which for a circle is pi r squared. So notice how we want the shaded sector. So that would mean the yellow part here, right? Notice how the 150 degrees is with the not shaded sector. So before we do anything, we have to figure out what is the angle of the shaded sector. And to figure that out, we would know that the whole circle adds up to be 360 degrees. And we need to subtract the 150 to see what we have left for the shaded sector, which in this case is 210. So we're going to be using the 210 in our setup to find the area of the sector. So in this case, it's 210 over 360 times, and since it's area, it's pi r squared. And our r is 9, so pi 9 squared. Notice how I'm putting the 9 in parentheses. Whenever we substitute things in, we put parentheses around it. And it says exact, so that means you don't put pi in the calculator. Put everything but pi in. So when you do that, 210 over 360 times 9 squared, that gives you 47.25. And since we didn't put pi in our calculator, we write it out. And it's area, so it's kilometers squared. And just as a reminder, this is exactly what came up in my calculator, but if the decimal was really long or repeating, you would have to hit math, enter in your calculator to give you a fraction. And if we do it this time, the fraction would be 189 over 4 pi kilometers squared. And you can write your answer either way. They're the same. They're equivalent. All right. Moving right along, find the area of the segment. And just as a reminder, this segment is this shaded crescent, that like crust of the pizza. So you want to find the area of that segment. And I want you to leave your answer in terms of pi, which that just means exact. So don't put pi in your calculator when you go to calculate it. So in order to do that, we are going to find the area of this sector, or like the piece of pizza, the whole piece of pizza, or the piece of pie, and we're going to be subtracting the area of the triangle. And just as a reminder, the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. And the base and height always form a right angle. So if you look, this one's kind of nice because we already have a 90-degree angle. So the base and height are already given to us in our picture. If this side is 8, that's a radius of the circle, we could assume that that is also a radius of the circle, so we can label that as 8 miles. And we can go ahead and start this problem. The area of the sector is 90 out of 360, that's the portion we want, times, and like we just did before, it's area, so pi r squared. In this case, our area is 8, so pi 8 squared. If we stuck with that, put that in your calculator, 90 over 360 times 8 squared. That would give you 16 pi. Remember, we want it exact, so don't put pi in. But then we need to subtract the area of the triangle, which in this case is 1/2. Base and height are both 8. They're both radii of the circle. And since we have this 90-degree angle here, that triangle, it makes it pretty easy to find the area. So when we put that in our calculator, 1/2 times 8 times 8, we get 32. So it's 16 pi minus 32 miles squared, because remember it's area, so it's units squared. So that would be exact. If you wanted approximate, you would just put that into your calculator. But it asks for it in terms of pi, which means exact, so that's how we leave our answer. All right, one more. This is a review, but I want to make sure we're okay with trig. It says Beyonce is building a wheelchair ramp with an angle of depression of 21 degrees. If the ramp is 14 feet long, determine the horizontal length of the ramp to the nearest hundredth. So if we underline some key things, it says angle of depression of 21 degrees. It says the ramp is 14 feet long, and we want to find the horizontal length of the ramp. So that's going to be our x. So let's sketch a picture. When we're dealing with problems like this, we'll be drawing a right triangle, and this is going to be our ramp that's at the slant, right? It says the angle of depression of 21 degrees. So that would mean outside the triangle is 21 degrees. But as we know, if that is 21, this is alternate interior angles. So it also can go at the bottom for 21 degrees there. It says the ramp is 14 feet long. So if this is the ramp, that is 14 feet. And we want the horizontal length. Horizontal is like the horizon, so it's flat. So that's what we're looking for. This side is what we're looking for. If we were looking for the left side, this one here, it would have said vertical rise or something, or the height. But that's not what it says. So this is going to be our picture. This would get you a 4 for 1.1. Okay, so we have to solve for our x. Let's label our sides. From our reference angle of 21, we have the x's adjacent, it's right next to, and the 14 is our hypotenuse across from the 90-degree angle. So if you're thinking of SOHCAHTOA, which one is A and H? Oh, well, that's cosine, which would mean we're doing cosine of our angle, which is 21, equals x over 14. Since we're looking for a side, we're going to cross multiply. So put cosine of 21 over 1, and you would cross multiply. That means 1 times x, you'll have x all by itself, equals 14 cosine of 21. Since x is all by itself, you just put that straight into your calculator. So make sure your calculator is in degree mode and do 14 cosine of 21 into your calculator, and you'll get x equals 13.07. Remember, it says to the nearest hundredth, so that's 2 place values. And our units this time is feet. Okay, so that means the horizontal length of the ramp is 13.07 feet. Alrighty, that's a pretty good review. So now